so long as like alchemy.
Knicks, Warriors, Madison Square Garden. Early on, look at JaVale with that bounce pass. That's a high degree level bounce pass because it needed to be skipped up high and very quick with the velocity, and he got it right to Clay, and it enabled him to finish the ball. JaVale, another great start. Early on, you see Draymond pressure and get very physical and force the turnover on Michael Beasley early in the game, and that's very strategic because Beasley's one of those guys where if he makes his first shot, it can be a long night for you as a defender. JaVale, you see him completely sell out on the offensive glass, and then Cantor, that's a very agile, athletic finish for a big man like that. One of the more skilled offensive bigs in the league. Clay, textbook. That's my new name for him, textbook. Textbook one dribble, pull-up, jumper. Clay had it going early on. On this end of the court, JaVale is very hit or miss. You see him get the block and recover, and that's almost like a God-given thing right there. He's so long, he just was able to get that, but he makes very poor decisions defending the pick and roll, and I love that pull-up transition three from Steph. I know he didn't knock it down, but it really helps him get into rhythm to take those and be aggressive early on. There's the scoop pocket pass and one. JaVale's second assist in as many minutes. Now, out in transition, when KD can press the ball like this, it's just death to any team, right? You've got the two sharpshooters filling the wing. KD's height and handle can get it to anybody at any time, and it's just there's nothing you can really do about it when he can get the defensive rebound and push. We doubled Michael Beasley early in this game. Steph gets switched on him. JaVale's going to come over and help. KD is protecting the rim. And see Draymond, he needs to be out here so he can challenge either of these shooters. Instead, he gets pulled down, and they both help on Cantor, and it allows Moutier to hit his first three-pointer as a Knick. But you know Durant loves to silence the crowd. Whenever a team makes a big basket, and on the road, KD usually answers with one of his own. It's just in his DNA. And this is new age basketball right here. You're going to see the turnover. Now watch Kevin Durant. He doesn't want to give up the three, so he gives up the dunk at the rim, right? Remember, the first thing you're taught in basketball is protect the rim, right? You can't give up layups. But the new advanced analytics and the way the game is dissected today, you're taught now to run guys off that three-point line, and then JaVale does this, the scoop and the finish, like he's 6'3". And I like the new open up look for JaVale. Now the finesse catch, not the greatest of passes. He had 10 points in 14 minutes, most of this done in the first quarter. Now you know KD wants to go one-on-one with this boy. They trap, swing, and Moutier hits his second three of the quarter. And this dude got some soup coolers, man. How much you think he spends on Lip Balm a month in New York with that cold weather? I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to leave Moutier alone. More JaVale just being in the right spot at the right time, and then the aggressive finish this time. I talked about JaVale's pick-and-roll defense. He just doesn't take the right angle. He needs to be over more to let Steph recover. He needs to give Steph more of a chance to recover, and he kind of leaves him out to dry there. Now, at this point, Moutier's really feeling himself, and he's going to pull up in transition for the heat check. And I will say this about guys, when they know they're going up against Steph, all their juices are flowing, and so that's tough. That's tough for Steph. Draymond, one thing if you've noticed of late, he's kind of been very inaccurate with the alley-oop. He's missed like at least one a game, and they've always been high. Finally, we get to see this kid back in the game. 4:19 in the first quarter, and Jordan Bell makes his return. Physically, he looked good. Like, he didn't put on any weight or anything like that. He looks like Jordan Bell, but he's got to get his timing and his conditioning. This is just a masterful set here from Steve Kerr. Watch the elevator screen. Steph's going to get it. No, he's going to drift, and there's Moutier, like, had no clue what was happening there, and gets Steph that three at the top. Here he goes in the pick and roll, and what I mean by timing is the game's fast. You can simulate practice, you can scrimmage. You get in an NBA game and it's quicker. All of a sudden, Quinn Cook's in your face, and he's like, oh, damn, I got to get rid of that, right? So there were a few instances where he was trying to protect the rim or perhaps roll, and you could just see that he wasn't up to speed with the NBA game yet. You see Zaza's second effort on the offensive glass, and then Nick Young does Nick Young things and lets Ntilikina leak out for the easy transition bucket. And as you can see, the Knicks were right there blow for blow throughout this first half of basketball. I will say this, Nick had a quick trigger and they're looking for him a little more, and I like that. I think he needs to be more aggressive with the shot, and I think they need to make a conscious effort. Look at the quick trigger right there in getting him a few looks early in games so he can find a rhythm where if we need him in the fourth quarter of a game, he's already got 4 or 5 shots up. Trey Burke is the guy that's going to make himself an NBA career this year. Every year you see a guy come out of the G League, a guy that didn't live up to the hype, find himself later in his career. This season it looks like it may be Trey Burke. Then there's the rookie again on the back door, torching Iguodala, and the Knicks hang a season-high 39 first-quarter points. The Kyle O'Quinn, David West matchup was a fun one to watch. Draymond, great cut, great find, and then you're going to see him get the block, come out under the screen, and still get Trey Burke. And this is a play right here where he should probably just try to get to the line. But again, they're looking for Nick Young, and I think if they continue to do so, it will pay dividends. Now, Swaggy and McGee have an album coming out together, and I'm going to go ahead and guess that they're not talking about pick-and-roll defense because neither of them know anything about it, and then this happens. Andre Iguodala off the dribble, 3-ball. I'm just going to smile. Now, Trey Burke's a very difficult guard to defend with his speed and his newfound jump shot, but you got to take advantage of him on this end, and that's what Klay Thompson did right here. They ISO'd him. They got to exploit his size on the defensive end. Klay with a quiet 26 points, very efficient, and this is the scouting report on the rookie Ntilikina. You got to go under the screen, but he confidently, rhythmically knocks that down, and I don't know how much longer you'll be able to go under screens on the rookie as he finds that. Kyle O'Quinn, the late challenge, and if you notice, David West struggles against quicker forwards who challenge that mid-range game, and then Quinn bulldozes his way to the rim, and he kind of got the better of David West in this matchup in the second quarter, and you can see why the Warriors coveted O'Quinn. But you know how when you have to fart and then you just let it out, you didn't expect it? That's exactly what that jump hook was. What in the world was that, Kyle O'Quinn? But look at him hustle back here and challenge the shot. And so, like I said, you see what the Warriors saw in him as far as an effort, physicality guy. Then KD does this, dancing, splashing, on his way to 22 points. Now here's a little broken window theory. Watch him steal the ball here. Now David West is going to fill the lane, but Durant expects three-point shooters to come trailing down the court. You see him look back, and then he forces up an ugly jumper. But that just gives you an idea of the effort level of Golden State in this first half of basketball. The high pick and roll. They shot the ball so well it didn't really matter, right? But I would say they were probably going about 60%. And then he makes Cantor look like Bambi out in the field. Whoa. Keep your balance. I like Cantor, though, and at the right price, I think he's a nice player. Now, watch Tim Hardaway Jr. here. What is Tim Hardaway Jr. doing? Watch. No, I don't want to guard him. $80 million, New York Knicks fans, for Tim Hardaway Jr., and I can't really explain that. Now, Moutier goes left every time. If the Warriors didn't figure it out, I don't think they've seen a lot of him play. Kicks it to Thomas in the corner, and the Knicks take the lead into the half, but do they really believe in themselves? Third quarter, the Warriors are like, all right, we'll play for a little bit. And look at the law of averages finally helping Draymond. The bank is open in New York, and what a prayer that was. Now, we talk about Durant. People say Durant hurts Steph. It's because you don't see as many of those pull-up threes that he just loves to feast on. And so I'm glad that he's hunting those a little more often. Now, check out this pocket pass. That was such a crisp and accurate pass, it allowed Klay the time to get that off. There was a small window for that shot, but because the pass was so great, and then look at Hornacek with the timeout and then turns his back on his team. That's the classic coach timeout, then turn the back as they walk towards you like, we ain't got nothing. Moutier, the goaltend, and after the 3 quick threes, Golden State realized, all right, they're going to overplay the three-point line, and they started cutting to the basket. And so they dug in for a few possessions here. Draymond, he'd already seen the spin move about 3 times from Beasley, so he makes him pay for it. Klay picks it up in transition. And then the extra passing, the crispness, and both the Splash Brothers have noticeably been more dialed in since the All-Star break. I think they clearly had been waiting to turn it up a notch. And then JaVale, you know, it's not quite Hakeem Olajuwon, but it went in, right? JaVale with the fadeaway. Look, he's like, I meant to hit that, man. Come on, please. Don't even make a face. Steph with his normal third quarter outburst, taking advantage of the smaller Trey Burke inside. And I just love all the pick and roll action. And I think Steph, it's no secret, right? He loves it. And hey, we can always go back to the motion. Let teams try to think about the pick and roll action so then we can always go back to the motion. Now, Burke, very quick, gets KD here on an island. The hezzy, very Iverson-like, and then Bell, you see the goaltend, right? And that was just another example of his timing being a little bit off. To be fair, Burke, ultra quick. Zaza jumps the passing lane. We're already up big here. Look at him go behind the back, though. There were several signs in this game from Zaza that let you know, like, he feels some type of way, and now he has kind of been pressed to prove himself. I had mentioned the healthy competition that it appears to be creating between he and JaVale, and I'm all for it. And Zaza honestly looks better in this second unit. Look at him switch out here and move his feet. When have you seen him be able to stay with the guard out there? Then he comes over and makes a wall at the rim out in transition, and KD goes for his soul. I think he likes playing at the guard, and he had a little extra sauce on everything he did on this night. Steph, 4-point play, and at this point, the Knicks could start hitting the showers, right? Count them. Watch Andre Iguodala jump hop into this three-pointer, and we hadn't seen this all year. Usually he kind of thinks about it and lets it go. You see the big hop into it, and what that lets me know is he predetermined, I'm going to shoot that shot. He didn't catch it and then say, I better shoot it. He knew before it swung to him, I'm going to shoot this three. And all of a sudden, what do you know? It's dropping. Klay had a series of impressive passes in this fourth quarter. It was garbage time. But remember the chemistry that he and David West really started to gain in the beginning of this season? Well, I'd like to see them recapture it. Klay with 2 great finds. And then watch this. Drive baseline, and he's going to feed Iguodala. So 3 assists from Killa to go along with the 26 points. Now, I had mentioned Moutier going left. Watch what happens when you force him right. And David West is an OG. He knew it, right? But it's just some of these little things, if you pick up on a young player, you can completely neutralize them. Look at Zaw recall for the ball here with 3:30 in the second unit, spin, and gets it to go. Now, you don't think it was a coincidence that both he and JaVale played exactly 14 minutes. So Kerr knows what he's doing, and let's just watch Zaza on this possession. He's just a lot more active. And pulling him from the starting lineup, I think it may affect Zaza more positively, even more so than JaVale. Final possession, and he finally gets Bell a basket, the hammer. So Golden State, what they're trying to do is balance the art of how much energy do they need to exert on a nightly basis against bottom-feeding teams, but you have to remain with championship-like habits as the season carries on. So they're trying to strike that balance. Washington will be a much more interesting matchup Wednesday night. The Bradley Beal-led Wizards on a hot streak. I'm out, y'all.